In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Eli Ellis and how he shoots the basketball. Let's get down, let's check him out. He's a very good prospect. He is being compared to, of course, Tyler Hero. So let's get down, let's check him out. So the one thing that he has really going for him is his ability to turn left as he's a right-handed player to make a shot. This shot is generally a much slower shot, but he's able to make it quite easily. There's a reason. The reason is because he actually hops into it and lands both feet roughly at the same exact time. This allows him to be able to turn his body much quicker, and with that slight leg kick, he's able to get his right side in line to the basket. So even though he may be getting forced right, which is something that a lot of top level defenders will do if you're right-handed, because it takes a heck of a long time to turn left into your shot versus going towards the left side, your weak side, and just jacking up a shot. Turning left as a right-handed player is much slower and of course less accurate, but he's able to do this at a high level. He's also able to shoot from deeper than NBA range, mostly because he has a one-motion shot. Having a one-motion shot will allow you to transfer the energy from your legs all the way up into your release, which allows you to have greater distance, range, and of course speed on your shot so you don't get blocked as easily. And we see this here. He's getting played straight up right now. Both that defender's shoulders and hips are roughly the same distance away from him. That means that he is not being forced one way or the other. This is a very good defensive strategy because you're not giving him anything to work with. However, when he crosses up, he then, of course, forces that top leg on this side. He is very good at going towards his right side and taking a quick left foot step back and landing right-left. He's still perfectly balanced, and he's pretty much back into his slight tilt away from the rim, which is how he shoots, and because of his one motion, he's able to get that shot up very quickly. And like I was mentioning, going towards his right or his left side allows him to pull up much faster, and we do see that here as well. See, there's an old school saying, which is force your player that you're defending to go towards his weak hand. There's an issue with that, and the issue is if that player can dribble at least somewhat with his left hand, he's going to want to go towards that left side because that allows his right side to be in line much faster with the rim. However, as we can see with Eli Ellis, is the fact that he just does really well going to either side. It doesn't matter. So let's really break down his shot. Now, of course, this is a very deep shot, but we can really gauge how well his shot is and how balanced it is. He has roughly a 90-degree angle on his hips and roughly 90, very close to it, on his knees. When he goes up into his set point is roughly in front of the right side of his face. We can see that in other clips. And this shot, he is angled more forward, of course, because of the distance away from the three-point line. That will give you a bit more power, and when you go up into your shot, if you are angled forward like this, you do want to kick your legs forward and pull your shoulders back so that you can stay balanced into your shot and have good energy transfer, as we can see. When it comes to his shot as well, when we look at his elbow, something that is a really good gauge as to how accurate your shot can be is the amount of movement that we see in the elbow from gather up until set point. And his gather to set point, he doesn't bend his elbow all that much until this last little bit right here. That's where he bends it slightly a bit more. The least amount of movement, the better the shot is going to be. He also has really good energy transfer. He's bringing that ball from gather up into set point while he's extending his hips. And then at that point, he extends his knees, which will allow him, of course ankles too, to be able to get up into his shot. His body is straight up and down. That means that he's in his shooting cylinder. You do not want to go outside of your shooting cylinder. It can be classified as an offensive foul today. And he has a nice release with his elbow above his forehead and a soft release, which will give him more arc on his shot. And we can see from this clip here that he has some pretty good backwards rotation on that ball too, and the more backwards rotation you have on that ball when it hits the rim, the softer it's going to hit, which means that it could bounce in eventually. You also want more arc on your shot because, of course, that will make the rim look bigger than if you were not to have as much arc. Now, when it comes to his actual shot, we can see from multiple angles that his shoulder is in line with his elbow towards the rim. However, because that ball is closer to the middle of his forehead, something naturally that happens is a thumb flick. We can see that right here. Now, if you've got a thumb flick and you find that your basketball, when you're shooting it, has no rotation, obviously this has rotation, that's when you want to change that thumb flick extremely quickly. because, of course, you want backwards rotation, so it makes that bouncing ability right there, as we see here, happen. Also, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got a little slight thumb flick, as we see here, making these shots going towards your right side will actually be much easier as well. And we can see from this clip that his shoulder and elbow is perfectly in line with the rim. The ball is more so in front of his face. About half of it is to the right side, if not just past the right side of his face, which is why he naturally has that thumb flick. You do not want to add a thumb flick to your shot. That will mess you up. Do not be a player who will say, well, if this amazing shooter can shoot with a thumb flick, I can too. Because that's not how a thumb flick works. A thumb flick is something that you generally want to get rid of. It's not something that helps your shot in 99% of cases. However, in some cases, as in Steph Curry when he was a bit younger, he doesn't have as much of a thumb flick, if any, right now, but he also has a thumb flick. Trae Young has a thumb flick, and of course, this player too as well has a thumb flick. Do you need one? No. Should you get rid of it? Yes, as much as possible, because it can mess up your shot. However, if it's not messing up your shot, if you still got backwards rotation and you're shooting generally about 50% in practice from 3, then at that point, you wouldn't have to worry about changing things up. However, if you're shooting very terribly, then at that point, there is something that you need to change. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.